Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your source for Second Amendment news. Excuse the way I'm sitting because my lower left back is destroyed. I was on a motorcycle for a long time yesterday. And excuse the sunburn because I was on a motorcycle for a charity for a long time yesterday. But I thought I could jump on here, excuse me, a day later than I wanted this to come out. This is about California. Again, California is taking the lead at becoming a communist nation. And this information came to me direct from the Firearms Policy Coalition. And I know that Will from The Daily Shooter put a video out yesterday regarding this as well. And I just want everybody here on the East Coast who might not watch Will, first off, sign up for The Daily Shooter. But also, this information needs to be known everywhere, not just in California, because what has been going on in California over the last few years has trickled its way to states like Maryland, to Massachusetts, New York, etc. Okay, so this is coming. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice still. So there are a number of bills that the governor, Jerry Brown, signed into law yesterday, Friday, in California, and they're pretty dangerous. They set a very, very dangerous precedent, one that I know other anti-gun states are going to do. Because I know some of the bills in some of the states are already being penned right now. And there are also three that he vetoed, that he showed, showed his kind judgment on the peons that fall under his fiefdom. So we're going to go over three sections. One will be the good, one will be the bad, and then one of them is the ugly. It's really, really ugly, and this is the one that the nation needs to pay attention to. So there are three bills that the governor of California actually vetoed. And one of them, I actually thought, I did a video not too long ago, it'll be floating above my head, about these bills that were sitting on his desk. And these 8 bills made it to his desk within like a 2-day period. And it just happened to be this week is when he actually took an action on him. So the first one is SB 221. This one was going to ban gun shows at the Cow Palace. Now this is in the area, it's in the area of San Francisco if I'm correct. But that was vetoed. So the Cow Palace, which has a major gun show once or twice a year, it can still have that show. The next one was SB 1177, and that was going to ban or limit the amount of firearms somebody in California could buy to one every 30 days. They have a law out there now, you can only buy one handgun, one pistol every 30 days, and they were going after the long gun portion as well. However, it would have only done one gun, period, for every 30 days. So, like, you couldn't buy a shotgun today and then a rifle tomorrow and then a handgun the next day and wait the whole 30-day period and then buy one of each again. It was just, if you wanted one of each one of those firearms, it would take you 90 days to obtain them legally. So that was vetoed as well. I guess everybody should kowtow to the Emperor, Emperor Brown, and thank him for bestowing a little bit of humanity upon the peasants. The next one was AB 1903, and this one was going to stop those who sell guns. It was going to stop their ability of issuing gift cards as a gun buyback. So, like, if you went into a gun shop and you brought in, whatever, an old Luger, they could give you a gift card that you could use towards the purchase of another gun. Well, they wanted to stop that because you can't have that freedom there. But luckily, he stomped on that and vetoed it. Probably, those three that he vetoed probably just wanted to go back to the assembly and maybe change a couple words because it just didn't meet his, his requirements for stomping on the people correctly. So they're probably going to come back anyway. So those are the three, the good, because they didn't go through. Let's go through 4 bad. AB 3129. This would ban anybody's right to the Second Amendment right, firearms, for the rest of their life for the simple misdemeanor domestic violence charge. Misdemeanor. Now, if you're not into law and you don't, maybe you just like, oh, domestic's terrible. Yes, no man should ever hit a woman. No woman should ever hit a man. I'm not advocating for domestic violence. In fact, I'm doing the opposite. However, a misdemeanor, for those who aren't aware, is not quite a felony. A misdemeanor is something smaller. And the definitions between misdemeanor and felony all have to do with the ability to serve time if you were found guilty for that crime. So, for instance, here in Massachusetts, anything from 0 to 2 years is a misdemeanor, and anything from 2 years and up is a felony. So if you're looking at the time of doing, say, 30 years for, say, a murder, that's a felony. If the crime and the punishment available under statute is like 4 days in jail, then that's a misdemeanor. So typically a misdemeanor is a lesser crime. It's not a felony domestic violence charge. It's a misdemeanor charge. So what they're doing is they're stripping your right without due process for a misdemeanor charge. Okay, now I'm not a cop in California. I don't know all the California laws, but I do know that it's not a felony they're looking to strip your rights for. It's a misdemeanor. Now they're now jumping into a different world. To be a prohibited person, there were certain felonies that you had to have on your record to lose your rights. All right. But now they're jumping into misdemeanors, and that's not just California. Here in Massachusetts, they have these things that under Governor Deval Patrick, the liberal crybaby, he who's no longer here, but we have Governor Baker, who we call Tall Deval, because even though he's Republican, it's like the same guy is still in office. And I know he's going to see this, so somebody in his office will. So, but we have what's called a super misdemeanor here in Massachusetts. It's operating under the influence of alcohol, OUI. It's a misdemeanor, but because Deval Patrick's crew made the possible penalty, not that you believe me, in Massachusetts, if it's your first OUI, you're not even going to go to jail. Never mind the possible time or the term of 2.5 years, which is not a misdemeanor anymore because it's 2.5 years, but it's still not a felony charge. But because it's the super created 2.5 years, because of that extra 6 months, you're now prohibited federally from owning a firearm or even getting your license here in Massachusetts. And there's a whole group of people right now finding that out the hard way when you're getting letters in the mail because your 5-year LTC renewal is up and you're getting a letter saying, oh, sorry, you're now a prohibited person. Please turn in or transfer all your firearms immediately, or you face the possibility of being charged for somebody in possession of firearms without a license. The next one is AB 2526. This has to do with the red flag law, the extreme risk protection order. However, I think in California it's called the red flag law. It was brought into the state not too long ago. Then right away they started going after people with this red flag. But up until the signing of this week by His Royal Highness Brown, these orders were, you had to go to court, petition a judge, get the court order, then they would carry out their illegal seizure of firearms and violate due process and all kinds of stuff. However, now you can do it just by a verbal order, which means they can do it after hours to an on-call judge, say 2 a.m. So they just expanded the opportunity to violate somebody's rights. The next one, number 3, is SB 1200, and that has to do with the red flag as well. The stormtroopers can come in at night and seize all your guns because now they can get this order verbally, and go in there when you're asleep. But now they can take your magazines too. Before it was just the firearms, and they were like, oh, what do we do with all these, ammunition feeding devices? Well, now they can take those as well. It's funny. I have notes, and I'm so used to working off of an iPad or something like that. Anybody else do this? I just actually scrolled up on the paper like an idiot. Technology's killing me. The next one is AB 1968. This one is dangerous, okay? This one will ban your Second Amendment rights for life if you were admitted to a mental health facility 2 times in a calendar year. The reason I have a problem with this is because I know people who had mental health issues when they were younger, sought treatment. Maybe it was bipolar disorder, whatever. Maybe they grew up in a really shitty home and had some issues that they had to clear up or talk to somebody with. But if you went to go see a doctor or admitted to a mental health facility to help treat your problem twice in a year, you're never going to be able to have a Second Amendment right in California now. And it's signed into law. Ever. And like the Daily Shooter's video said, what if you're somebody who's coming home from combat, done a couple tours at war, and you had some PTSD because of some of the things you had to do or some of the things you had to see, and you just needed somebody to talk to, okay? Now, if you were admitted twice in a year and you got your issue worked out, you sought some treatment, and it's been years since then, you're still never going to get your gun license or your permit or be able to buy a gun or ammo in California because you sought help for your problem. Yes, mental health is bad. Yes, mental health is one of the biggest issues for all these whack jobs going out and shooting people instead of dealing with no or dealing with rejection in their own life. But this one just casts too big of a net at the problem. Okay, the answer to finding the problem of mental health in today's society is not to lump everybody into one basket and say you're all evil, you can never have your Second Amendment. I mean, imagine if we did that to the liberals. Okay, we just, because you're liberal, we put you all in this basket and said you guys can never have the right to, let's see, what do the liberals go crazy for? You no longer have the right to protest because you're in this basket of liberalism. You no longer have the right to whatever, to Planned Parenthood, to freedom of speech if you're going to talk about anything like pink hats, stuff like that. Okay, they would never let that happen, but because this is following, the narrative, it's okay to take the guns from those people. Excuse me, laundry's done. All right, I'm back from laundry. So, hey man, I'm a dad. Job's never done. So the next one is the ugly. This one is freaking terrible, horrible, and this is something to fear in any state that may not be 100% pro-gun, and we're going to find out November 6th that there's more that are in that bucket of slave states that I call them. This is the bad one, SB 1100. And SB 1100 took every citizen in the state of California whose age was 18, 19, or 20, and it took all of those people, I'm sure there's millions of them in that state, it's a large state, and it took away a constitutionally guaranteed right forever without due process. You don't even get the chance to petition the government, hey man, I have gone to war for you, I'm back in my country, I'm 19 or 20 years old, I would like the ability to defend myself, like the founding document says. Sorry, you don't get that right. Thanks for nothing. Go home and maybe go see somebody for PTSD so we can definitely take your rights from you. Very, very, very dangerous what they just did in California. Believe this one is a grace period. I think January 1 is the target date. But millions of people just lost their due process, just lost their Second Amendment, because the liberals just think that that's the way it should be. We'll take this guaranteed right and just shrink and chip away and keep doing paper cuts and paper cuts and paper cuts to shrink that available pool until there's nothing left and we win. Now, the Daily Shooter said there was a way still to get your long guns, and I'm not going to put that here. If you want to know that, watch his video. He has it on his video. I'm just not going to perpetuate that because eventually I know there are liberals who watch my stuff, and I don't want to give them the keys to the palace where they can say, hey, governor, this is what you need to go after next. But with that said, anybody who's in this age group, men, women, people with children, anybody who from this day forward happens to be hurt or killed because they no longer have the right to defend themselves, then they should, or in the worst case scenario where they're no longer with us, their estate or their family should sue the shit out of California and charge them with anything they can for taking that person's ability to defend themselves as guaranteed under the Constitution of the United States and being a direct cause for their injury or their death. Sue them, sue them, sue them. If you're not a member of this little conglomerate I call Guns and Gadgets, whether it's here on YouTube or other social media, links are in the description of every video. Please like and subscribe to this video, share it amongst your friends, and consider joining on the other avenues so that we can all be on the same page when it comes to Second Amendment rights, Second Amendment wrongs that are going around this great nation all too quickly. So I appreciate you all more than you know. Until we see each other again, this is Jared from Guns and Gadgets. Be safe, stay vigilant, and carry your weapon. Take care, everybody.